Hello, welcome to Taking Care of Yourself, Part 3. I'm Diane, and this is my YouTube channel, Skill Building 201. I'm sorry for the length of time between videos. When May comes up here in the North Woods, it's not only spring cleaning, but it's everything out in the yard because the yard is finally thawed and all the plants need us. So I'll try to catch up though. Okay, we are still in number 3, finishing it up. Okay. Personal care, taking care of yourself personally. We just have a couple of things left in it and then we're done with it. One of them is be careful what you watch on television, what you watch at the movies, and what you read in books. If you're feeling under stress because of the world and national events, like I am, and even just in general, my best friend said, I watched the first 2 episodes of Breaking Bad, and she said, it was so hard to tear myself away from it because the writing was so good, but I don't want to hang out with a meth dealer. So that's kind of the way I feel about it. I want my media to nurture me. I don't want my media to stir me up any more than I am. So, and the last thing is, consider therapy. If you feel like you're stuck, that is what therapists are for. They can help you over time. They can help you find the patterns of what you keep repeating. And you need that objective feedback to be able often to deal with becoming unstuck, getting past these things that you keep doing. You need somebody objective. It can't be your parents because they're anything but objective, and your friends also are not objective, and they also don't want to tell you something if they are seeing it, but a professional will tell you the patterns that they're seeing and help you get unstuck. Okay, so now we are going to move on to number 4. Be your own best friend and your own best parent. And it all starts with self-talk. I heard a man on public radio recently saying, he was, not recently, years ago, decades ago, he said he was in Paris in a grocery store shopping, and a woman came by and she was talking to herself constantly. And this is before cell phones. And he watched her a bit and thought, she probably has a problem or two. And then he thought, I do that. I constantly talk to myself, but I do it inside my head. And so she's just doing it out loud. And I noticed that sometimes my lips are moving when I go through a grocery store because I'm thinking and my lips are moving. I'm not saying it out loud, but I catch myself and try to stop that. Self-talk, we all do it, and a lot of the self-talk that we do is not kind to ourselves. You need to try to catch that. If you hear yourself inside your head saying, I'm so clumsy, or I'm so stupid, or I never catch on, or nobody likes me, don't do that. You need to self-talk, tell yourself things that you would tell to your best friend. You'd never talk to your best friend like that. If you do, shame on you. Or being a parent. Think about talking to a child. You would never say things like that if you were even a halfway decent parent. You want to build your child up. You want to be in your best friend's corner and encourage them. So don't do it to yourself. Don't engage in self-talk and grab it. You're gonna do it, and it might be 2 weeks later that you catch yourself and say, wait a minute, I didn't like saying that to myself. Be your own best friend to yourself. You are smart. You can figure this out. Come on, I'm going with you. Same for be your own best parent. If you did not have a good parent, there's a whole section of psychology that's about reparenting. But the simple part of it is say things to yourself that a parent would say to you if they were the best parent. If you're in a kind of a hard situation, say to yourself, it's okay, you're going to get through this. I'm here with you. I'll help you. Say those things to yourself because it's like affirmations. They really help. And that's kind of self-talk is where a lot of being kind to yourself starts. Okay? By the way, the area of reparenting can get pretty heavy. And so if you have had a really rotten childhood, please go to a therapist because you need help navigating those waters. It can be overwhelming, and when I used to run groups, I would tell people that the field exists. There are books on it. Maybe find a therapist or a best friend. Try not to do it when you're all alone because it might be overwhelming emotionally. So, okay. Number 5, maintain daily order. I've known hoarders, and I've known minimalists that look like they just moved in yesterday, even though they've been there 10 years. And most of us are somewhere in between. So whatever order means to you, maintain it. We're talking about taking care of yourself. If I leave the home to go out to something I need to perform, to do well in, and I know that the beds are not made and the dishes aren't done and there's stuff everywhere, I'm off balance all day. So I need to know, and that might sound anal, but it isn't. It's just practical. I need to know that I've left my home, my nest, my sanctuary in good order to go out into the world and do my best. So keep that in mind as you leave your home. Number 6, set goals and work toward them. If you set reasonable goals, and I'm retired now, this has been a goal, and I had to break it down into small steps. When I was working in the Welfare to Work program for my state, I would have clients come in and say, I want to get a college education. Or they might say, I want to be a teacher. And so that requires a college education. And we would have to break it down into small steps because it's overwhelming and you can't really track your progress unless you break it down. So the first step was always, if you don't have your high school degree, get either a GED or a high school diploma. And so they would go to work on it and they would achieve it and they would feel so good about themselves. This is not only vital to taking care of yourself, but to self-esteem. This is one of the biggest things. Taking action, succeeding. Taking more action, succeeding. This builds you up. So then, after my clients would get their GED or high school diploma, then the next step would be take one college course. Take it for a semester and see how you do. And so forth and so on. So building it up. And I had many clients who got a 4-year degree. And they were set for the rest of their lives. They were off and running. Okay. So when Alice in Wonderland was trying to decide which way to go during her travels, she asked the Cheshire Cat, would you tell me please which way I ought to go from here? That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, Alice said. Then it doesn't really matter which way you go, said the cat. So even though I'm retired, I set goals. And I have friends that don't, and that's fine too. But actually most of us do. So they're not grandiose by any means, but there's something that kind of keeps us going. When I start a new project, I write a mission statement. And my mission statement for the classes, and consequently this, my mission statement is that there are so many good workshops and adult ed classes that normal people don't get. How to reach everybody with some of the great stuff that's out there that's mainstream these days among people who give workshops and people who teach classes. So I just want my workshops that have meant something to people to be out there and to be available and to be accessible before I'm gone or before I can't remember anything. So that's my mission statement. Okay. Develop a positive attitude. Charles Swindoll, pastor, author, educator, and radio host, said, "Attitude is everything. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. So it is with you. You are in charge of your attitude." And this ties in so nicely with understanding our perceptions, where as an event happens, we run it through our belief system. Look back to my listening ones and also look on YouTube for this. We run it through our belief system, and that helps us determine what we think, what we feel, what we say, and what we do, the conclusion. So our attitude, this is having a positive explanatory style. We talked about that too, your attitude. Okay, good. We have a little bit left for another time. We'll do 8 and 9 next time. Thank you.